At a Nintendo press conference in 1999, Project Dolphin was first revealed to the public as Nintendo's first disc-based home console. This would become the Nintendo GameCube, released in Japan in 2001 and North America in November of 2001. It was well received for its time, yet criticized for lacking features beyond being a games console. This might have contributed to it being one of Nintendo's lowest selling consoles. Yet the GameCube still carried some of the greatest games in history, and holds a special place in the hearts of people who grew up with it. Join us on this episode of Beanstalk as we take a look back at one of our favorite eras of video gaming, the early 2000s and the Nintendo GameCube. So I guess we just jump right into it. Beanstalk episode 13. Thank the Lord, we got a season 2.
We did?
Yeah.
When did we get renewed?
Last week.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't hear this news.
But we're coming back and the plot lines are still not being resolved.
Oh no, we were renewed around episode 5. Because they're like, oh man, they got the momentum, right?
But we're jumping in.
Okay.
So this week is special. I've been alluding that we're going to be talking about GameCube on a podcast for a while now. And now is just a good week to do it, just because there's nothing else to talk about. So GameCube, I would say, probably my favorite era of video games. Because I grew up with GameCube when I was just a little boy. It came out in 2001. I think I might have gotten it in 2002 when I was like 5 years old. So that era of gaming is pretty special to me. Can I get some words from y'all?
Well, so I only ever got to play the GameCube when I was at my cousin's house. Because both my cousins had it, but I didn't have it.
And my cousin was and you're like, oh, no, you can't play, but I won't play either. Like, what? One of those trolls that would just sit on it and not do it.
Now, the sad thing was, my cousin only had one controller, so I usually got to watch play, but, but sometimes, I'd take the range too. But, at my other cousins, they had, sometimes they would bring the GameCube to my grandparents, and then we'd play Kirby Air Ride in the Rumble Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we always had a good time. Those were my favorite games, Kirby Air Ride and Rumble Arena.
The GameCube was the reason I've wanted to talk about the GameCube as a podcast topic for a while is because it was a very interesting era of gaming. People were, I would say it was the start of people experimenting with game genres and like peripherals and trying to do different things with games. An introduction to that, it's something that I said, let's wait for a GameCube podcast to talk about this. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. It was a very special game.
What's special about it?
Yeah, you have to fill me in also.
Yeah.
Okay, so Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is one of 2 games in the GameCube's game library where the only way you could play it is if you connected a link cable from your Game Boy Advance into the GameCube. So it was you and your friends and you were on your Game Boy Advance and you were playing your own game on your Game Boy Advance. But you were making your own village, going on quests as Final Fantasy characters and doing stuff and like having jobs.
Is this like Animal Crossing?
No. I mean in the sense that you got to build up your own village and put whatever you wanted in there. And like you could run stores and stuff.
Why haven't I heard
And
this?
this is a Final Fantasy game, you were saying?
Yeah, Crystal Chronicles was like it's a side branching series. It got a few more games. It's been gone for a while. Came back on the Switch. I haven't personally played it, but from people who played the original and then played it on Switch, and I've heard things, it's not good.
Oh. It's not like Rune Factory?
No.
No?
I wouldn't say it's like, maybe not entirely.
Like
but
Harvest Moon, Because Rune Factory is the spin-off.
In some ways, maybe.
Okay.
If you want to see it that way. For the Switch version, they took it's like a mobile game now. It's you can connect with your friends for quests, but then once the quest is over, they're gone. They disconnect.
That's disappointing.
It used to not be like that. You were on the Game Boy Advance and you were connected and then you did things. You did everything together.
Yeah.
That was the most fun part. The way I got to experience that when I was a kid was I had a friend and he had an older brother who was really good at computers and like hacking and stuff.
Yeah.
So he had a He had a GameCube emulator. I didn't do it. I didn't download those games. He did. Hunt him down, Nintendo.
Well, I mean, if you own the game.
Well, I mean, he's just a friend's older brother at this point. I think everyone's okay in the clear. And we don't know who you are, Christopher.
That's true. So he had the GameCube emulator on his computer, and what he did was he was able to rig up a Game Boy Advance emulator as like a controller, as if to emulate. The emulator was emulating that it was being plugged into the GameCube, even though it realistically couldn't do that because it's
pretty awesome.
That's really cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how you pulled that off.
Well, a lot of people have been able to pull it off ever since. I mean, I don't think he was the first either. It's just it's a thing you can do if you know how to like hack that stuff and like be like plugins and on your computer. You could probably pull it off.
So like you probably. I'm trying to think of how you pulled it off, but you'd probably have the GameCube emulator open first.
Yeah.
And then you'd have, because I'm assuming when you play, the Game Boy just acts as the controller, or do you look at the Game Boy screen?
The Game Boy emulator puts up its own screen, and then like, I think in a way, when he went into settings and he was like controller plugins, he was able to trick the Game Boy Advance emulator into being a plugin.
Interesting. I have no idea how you pulled that off.
It was the most interesting thing ever, but it also meant that when me and my friend were playing on it, his brother let us use it, but he wouldn't play with us. He was like, kids, freaking losers. So it was the two of us, and we were playing on the computer screen. It was like the GameCube emulator screen was on the top half, and then the two Game Boy Advance screens were on the lower half.
Yeah.
And if you remember what computer monitors were like back then, they were a square, so we didn't have a lot of space to work with.
Yeah.
So we got like all up close to the computer screen, looking at our screens, having to look back at the GameCube screen because it would show like the progress. It would show the town.
Yeah. Now imagine doing that on a multiple monitor setup. That'd be pretty cool.
Back in the day, who would have the space for that?
No, well, no one has a multiple monitor setup back then unless you had like a beast.
Batman did, I imagine, in the Batcave. Like, I got all the space. I'll fill it with computers.
Dude, the oldest computer I have is one without a mouse. You have to type in all the commands just to go into like different folders and files.
Man, no, that's computer.
Yeah, that's a dinosaur.
That's wild.
So like if I wanted to go into the games folder to play the little dinosaur drawing game thing that was on that computer, or there was like a little football game too. You used floppy disk too. So
okay, yeah.
And not the tiny floppy disk that they when they improved the floppy disk and went to the tiny ones. I'm talking about the big old floppy disks that took up like half a table. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but
Man, we've come a long way.
Yeah, we really have. We really have.
I would also like to clarify. I'm kind of just talking out my because I don't actually know all that much about how this guy did it. If there's anybody who listens to this and like knows about that stuff and knows how you actually do that, feel free to correct me in the comments. This is just like what I could gauge from whatever I know about emulators and tech from back in the day. I just know that he was like, this Game Boy Advance emulator is emulating as a controller plug-in to the GameCube.
I wonder if you can do the same thing with the... Because I remember back in the N64, you can plug in the your Game Boy and it would play like the red version or whatever and blue version on the N64.
Yes, if you plugged in your Pokemon Game Boy cartridge into your controller and you were playing Pokemon Stadium, you could play Pokemon through Stadium.
I wonder if someone could emulate that and trick the thing into thinking that, you have a red version plugged
No,
into
I believe
your Pokemon
that.
Stadium.
That's actually out there. You just gotta find it.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing when I get home now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was that interesting game to me, and a lot of people liked it, and then they ruined it on Switch.
Want to know what classic? Harvest Moon on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Because that's when it first came. I think it was the Magical Melody.
I think I've heard of that. What is Harvest Moon?
Oh, it's just a farming sim. So it's a farming sim.
And it's called Harvest Moon? Oh, man, that's great, actually.
But our magazine for the philosophy journal at Cal was called the Harvest Moon, so we had to change the name because copyright issues.
Oh.
Did that just happen recently?
No, because apparently we've had that name for 20 or so years ago, and but when you Google search Harvest Moon, what's gonna pop up is Nintendo, and so
Oh man, who's the lawyer that's gonna save you and then you make a game after him?
So when I went to Cal, and we wanted to restart the philosophy journal because it's been dead for a long time, and yeah, we were like, I don't think we can keep this name, so we had to change it, and I think we turned it into it was just called the philosophy journal or something, or no, it was the idealist journal.
What I know about that Harvest Moon situation is that
is it announced for the Switch?
Well,
is that the part of the direct I missed, Chris?
So there's actually a GameCube game, Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, and I think I have it somewhere. In fact, Kevin, if you would open the magic drawer,
this top one,
yeah.
Oh, all the GameCube games are in there.
I have a drawer full of GameCube games.
Oh, and there's the Kirby Air Ride.
Oh my god, and Misadventures, man.
Eddie.
Yeah. When are we gonna stream End and Eddie Misadventures, Christopher?
Probably soon.
After Ghost of Tsushima?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Man, Shadow the Hedgehog is impossible to find a PS2 port of. I don't know why. Maybe that's a good one.
I remember Sonic Heroes on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was good fun.
Oh no. Oh.
My cousin couldn't beat it. Or I think we ended up beating it together. I can't remember. But it was good fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, just take some out. Just shake them out by the chunk and let...
Well, I mean...
I feel like all of these games could be talked about.
Oh, there's Air Ride. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, the best Harvest Moon game, though, and my favorite is, I think it's Magical Melody. That's the one where you had to, like, pick up all the notes.
Was that on the Wii?
Yeah, they did a remake of it on the Wii.
Uh-huh.
And they did a remake of it on the, I think on the Switch? No. I'm not too sure, honestly. I know they did a remake for the Wii, though. And that's what I had it on.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yes, I want this.
So about that Harvest Moon. So that game's probably not in that drawer, but it's somewhere. And what...
There's some secret thing in here that I can't place... Oh, it's more games.
Kevin's just playing with the drawer at this point.
The drawer is just full of GameCube
Because it doesn't open enough to give me the vision to see what I'm doing properly.
You could move your chair this way.
Christopher, you say these things, and I'm like, man, he's right.
No, but yeah, we definitely need to stream the Kirby Air Ride eventually. And
after Tsushima. And
then we have to beat King DDD, because that would be the goal.
Oh, King DDD.
Dude, that's such a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
In Kirby Air Ride trying to beat King DDD. Because in like 2 hits, he kills you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing you can do about it. And you can hurt your friends. And so whenever someone got like an attack or something, and you always ended up hitting each other, it's always a mess. And then he also scales up based on how many players there are playing. So...
Oh, man. It sounds like some nowadays game stuff.
Dude, it is a nasty boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we ever beat it. And
so your best chance is to fight him alone then, yeah?
Probably, but then again, you still got murdered anyway. Like, you had to have like the best vehicle, some good, awesome teamwork, and yeah, it never happened.
That in itself is kind of like a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really great and classic GameCube games that I can think of, like, man, that game is still good today. And I think a lot of people can look back to the GameCube's game library and be like, my God, that game was that, and then this, and then oh my goodness,
Dude,
classics.
If you remade that game today, it would sell like fries. I like fries.
I also like fries.
Air Ride was kind of a fan favorite. It kind of still is.
No, it's definitely...
No, it can be...
up there.
No, the remake of Air Ride could be the launch title for the Switcher, the next Nintendo console. It won't be next gen because... Why Nintendo? Man...
The Switcher. The Switch, but more. It is, again...
It's a bigger Switch.
It's twice the size.
Or would it be the Switch U?
Oh, God, let's not rehash that.
That's a bad
decision.
That was a mistake.
That's asking for problems to happen.
No, because then you could take the tablet out, but you could still play on the TV with people, but you would also have the tablet.
I think you can do that already, can't you?
No, not on the
no,
Switch.
never mind. No, because it has to be plugged in.
Yeah. Oh man, okay, see, that's all they have to do with the next one. You could take it out, but still have it on the TV. Like how
would you even pull that out?
I bet like you plug it in, and I'm sure there's some settings that like.
Maybe like a USB, or like not a USB. What's it called? Bluetooth.
I don't know.
No, because I think they hit the nail on the head with the whole just the docket of the Switch.
Yeah, because it goes by HDMI, and that's how it plugs into the TV. But what if they went one step further and went Bluetooth? That way you just wireless.
No, like the docket is wireless, or the tablet itself?
Like the tablet itself is wireless.
Ismot, screen sharing already exists. It doesn't need to be Bluetooth.
Or whatever. Or maybe you could do like a smart cast on a smart TV.
No, I'm just saying, take the good stuff from the Wii U, the little that it had, right? And then, I don't know.
The Nintendo GameCube.
I would put... Oh, the Nintendo. Okay. Controversial question. Is the GameCube blue or purple?
It's purple.
Wait, what?
Is it?
Who says that it's blue?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen one in a while.
Crazies.
Yeah, people who are freaking colorblind, clearly. The GameCube only...
But there are people that will fight you to the death. They're like, no, it's like an indigo blue. You're like, oh man, you get out of here with your indigo blue.
It's not.
No, GameCube's purple, but...
Let's be real, like GameCube logo, every time when you open up a game, it's just so satisfying.
Actually, you know what? No, GameCube did the best thing for me, and it introduced me to Mario Party. Now, Mario Party, it's still good. It's not what it used to be, but man, my cousin had Mario Party.
What was that one Mario Party that came out where like Bowser is chasing you?
That was 10.
Okay. That one was okay.
That one was... Bowser's Chase was really good. I mean,
it felt way too short, though.
The base game was... they made it better, but it's not good.
Yeah, I was like, no. I think the one that I really enjoyed was one on the DS. That was pretty good. And I think that was the one that came out before the Bowser one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think with that one you could a DS play with people, even if they didn't have... Man, yeah. No, that one was heck...
That was the one that I don't think even I owned. I think it was my sister who owned it.
Yeah, no one owned it, but you just needed the one friend, and they're like, okay, y'all gather around.
Yeah.
Man.
It was good stuff.
Especially fun to play on camping trips. Like, oh man, there's nothing to do.
To you on a battery.
Mm-hmm. No, we always went camping with like we always did up camping. We always had chargers and whatever.
Oh, I got you.
So we weren't really camping. We were just outside with all our tech. But
I got you.
It's the funnest. People should do it more.
And when I went camping, like this summer, it rained on us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite part of this show, where Ismot just derails the topic entirely for like a few minutes.
Oh, no, that was the end of the story.
Good. Thank you. Mario Party is a good point. Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah,
Mario Party had 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the GameCube.
Yeah, and I think I played 4. And I was like, man, 4.
I know I played one of them, though.
I remember they were kind of indistinguishable little chibis on screen, but I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to see my character to win the game now. Man.
4, I had 4, and I think we also had 7 once upon a time, but then something happened, like the disc melted.
Did you give it to me? He never gave it.
No.
Oh, no, that was Greg's DS. And what game did he take to?
I don't remember.
He tells me that story, and even now I'm like, man, that's ridiculous. You're a fool.
Mario Party 7 introduced a peripheral to the GameCube, the mic. And that...
Oh, yeah?
Boy, that was a piece of crap. It didn't really work.
Uh-huh.
But it was a good concept. They made it... I think they introduced it in 6, and then they made it better in 7. It still wasn't particularly great.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen... like gameplays or videos online of people like the mini game in Mario Party. It requires you to say a word. It's like say orange and the orange platform will fall. And I've seen where people are just like broccoli and then the orange platform falls.
Also, it's not actually like voice recognizing. It's like, oh, there's a noise.
It's not great. It's here's syllables. That's about it.
What was that one Pokemon game that was on the GameCube? Not Coliseum and Gale of Darkness, but the or was it on the N64? The one where it's like a Pikachu and it goes on the...
Hey You Pikachu?
Yeah, maybe. That's probably it. The TV.
Yeah,
the TV
one.
Pikachu.
This sounds like a Switch game before the Switch.
Yeah, it was on with like
Pokemon Channel?
Yeah, that one.
Oh my goodness, Pokemon Channel, that's like not even a game, but it was
Isn't
very
it like a storage
entertaining.
Box? Or what,
No.
what is Pokemon?
It's you're given a TV and you're told to watch Pokemon TV, and then you do.
It was such a great game. I never got to play it much because it was my cousin's game, and we had the one controller, and I never got to really play. I had to like sit and watch.
I mean,
but
believe me, your cousin wasn't playing either.
Well, to be fair, probably. But you know, it was something I wanted to play, and I was just like, you know, I was deprived of the opportunity to play this game.
I like how Meowth, a villain, somebody that these characters actively try to get away from, he's just out on the street, like, reporting.
He's a news reporter.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Team Rocket doesn't pay well if you lose.
Yeah.
Which is like every episode.
So, you know, he has to get a side job. You know, he's got to work it off.
He's a news anchor.
Yeah.
Also, what do people in the Pokemon world eat?
Pokemon.
Well, no, remember Brock makes that Pokemon food?
Yeah, but what do the humans eat?
Not humans are all vegetarian. There's no regular animals in the Pokemon world.
Well, I mean, they do eat a lot of Magikarp.
They also eat Slowpoke tail, so they're a Slowpoke without tail.
That's really sad, you know?
Man, I imagine they slaughter Tauros by the dozens. Or no, the Miltanks, my bad.
It does seem pretty sad, huh? When you look at it.
Is that what happened to Ash's Tauroses? The ones that you just had a bunch of?
Yeah, Outback was going out and they thought they could bring it back with the sale and then they went under anyway. Sorry, Tauros. So yeah, now no more Outback Steakhouse for Tauros the bull Pokemon. Wayne.
Oh yeah, me and Kevin were talking about Outback Steakhouse earlier today because we drove by. And
because it's just there, all fenced up, forgotten.
This one broke into through the window too.
Oh shoot, really?
Yeah, because you can see the windows all broken. But yeah.
They wanted to see if there was still some popcorn shrimp in there.
Oh, dude, they had the best bread.
Oh, you mean the black of local?
Yeah.
Man?
Dude, the bread was amazing.
And then you order the grilled shrimp on the Barbie, and they serve you on the bread. And the shrimp was good, but the bread is what you wanted because it tasted like shrimp by the time you were done. But it was all you're like all over them. Super good. You're smirking, Christopher, but I don't think you remember. Or you didn't have the palate to appreciate.
Well, yeah, it's definitely been years since I've been to Outback, and I'm not going anytime soon.
They've been gone for like 2 now.
Jesus. The Lord told me to speak about GameCube on this day. And by God, Mario, what's next?
Yeah, and that led us to Mario Party, and naturally, as everyone can see, Mario Party led to Steakhouse.
You guys ever think about how there's no such thing as, like, demo discs anymore?
Oh yeah, they don't do that anymore.
They don't. Because every demo can pretty much be digitally distributed. There's no reason to have discs.
Yeah, isn't it much easier just to distribute them?
To be fair, they don't even have demos anymore.
Yeah, just themselves. Most games don't even have demos.
Yeah.
I appreciate...
Yeah, some of them are beta. It's coming out in a month. You're like, oh.
Yeah, beta.
And they make you pay for it. Yeah.
Like beta or like apply now to be an alpha tester.
Yeah.
Or they check out this proof of concept.
Like Amazon New World right now. You can be a beta tester.
But like as far as discs go, like demo discs, they're not a thing because in the first place, it's like manufactured by a company and they're like, we're bringing a bunch of demos together and putting them on a disc. Yeah. So a lot of people were, as soon as they were like, we don't need to do this anymore, they were like, we're taking control of what we distribute. But I remember having like 2 GameCube demo discs and they were glorious because that's where I was introduced to Soul Calibur 2 on the...
What? Oh, man. Oh, okay. I'm a little jealous now, just a little bit.
Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. The demo was the girl Cassandra and Nightmare. That was it. You could only play as those characters. But it introduced me. And I was like, this is amazing. Demo discs as a concept, I really miss it because... It'll always introduce you to something you never even thought about considering, or like you just get a chance to try something. And the GameCube from the early 2000s eras, like with PS2 and Xbox, probably the last era that demo discs were a thing.
Yeah, you don't see them anymore, and you don't see demos in general anymore either.
I don't know, but imagine the sick blow-ups that would happen if they were still around.
Dude.
Like, we didn't get sick announcement trailers. Like, oh, yeah, just play it. And...
Like, I know with,
Like, imagine if you got the demo disc for Spider-Man. And they didn't tell you that. You just go to play and you're like...
No, I know, what was the game? Silent Hill on the Xbox?
Yeah.
I know that if you have an Xbox that has Silent Hill downloaded on there, because you can't download it anymore, and it was just a demo, it goes for a lot more than, like, a regular Xbox, because you can't get that game anymore.
Yeah, you can only buy the HD remaster or whatever, which apparently is actually worse than the originals.
But no, because that Silent Hill game was supposed to be like the one that Hideo Kojima was gonna make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he left, and then it fell apart.
What do you mean
it
left?
never happened.
They kicked him out.
Or whatever it was. I don't know. Whatever happened. But yeah.
No, you're right. Because I've been trying to find a decent copy of Silent Hill 2 for the PlayStation. Yeah. I found one, but it was like $300 and something, and I'm like, Amazon, how dare you put that in my face? The worst part is I totally thought about it. I'm like, I found one.
Is Monster Rancher on the GameCube, or is that just on the PlayStation?
I think that was PlayStation only.
Because getting the copy of Monster Rancher 2 was a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was a Monster Rancher 4. Anyways, it cost me $50 just to get one copy of the game. Because they go for way too much.
You know what also goes for way too much? Pokemon. Now, even... Oh yeah, I remember Amazon sold me $50 and I got 5 games.
Yes.
And then we went into a GameStop a couple days later and we were like, one is like $49.99. Like, oof. They only break on my XL DS.
Oh, I see.
Which is like, wah, because I bought it for, so I have the big screen for the...
Well, aren't they, bootlegs?
Yeah, they're Chinese bootlegs.
Oh,
but it's okay.
lovely.
My base form DS plays them without a hitch, so I've been playing those actually. And I tell you what, man, I missed out.
I guess we talk about Coliseum, Gale of Darkness.
Pokemon Coliseum and Gale of Darkness. Two of my favorite GameCube games, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Gale of Darkness anymore. I don't know what happened to it. We probably lost it.
Is that the one where
That's the
Lugia's
one where
on the cover?
you start with Eevee. Yeah, and Lugia's on the cover.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Black Lugia.
Shadow
cool
Lugia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shadow Luge.
I remember the trailer for that. I'm like, man, that looks like the hype.
I got to play it for a little bit because it was my cousins again.
Mm-hmm.
And they would normally
We got to
play
meet
it.
this cousin of yours,
Yeah, well, I've got a lot of cousins.
Be like, cousin, why don't you let Ismot play? All he wanted to do was watch that Pokemon TV, and you wouldn't let him.
Well, I mean, like, we'd play together, but like, when it's single player, usually the person that owns the console is the one that plays the console. Yep, that's the rule of the game. But I got to watch most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'll play. But what was I saying again? Yeah, that's the one when you started with Eevee.
Yes.
And that was the only one I played. I never got to play Coliseum.
You were that little red-headed boy, and you had the capture device. You had the metallic arm on your arm. And you were like, yeah, I'm going to steal people's Pokemon because those Pokemon have dark hearts. Those people are evil for letting their Pokemon...
I thought the game was you're playing as the villain. I'm like, man, what did I miss out on? But
that would be great. And in fact, I want to mention this.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost the case for the original Pokemon Coliseum. So, Coliseum has its story, and it does its thing. Mm-hmm. It centers around Wes... or at least that's the canon name, and he's going around and he has the capture device on his arm, and he's taking the Pokemon away that have closed off hearts. They're the shadow Pokemon. And once he beats Cypher, the big bad organization... I thought
it was just like a Scyther. I was just imagining just a green Scyther,
Cypher.
That would be a black Scyther. And he's like, no, you don't...
Yeah. He has your companion named Rui, canonically Rui, and she could see shadow Pokemon. That's why she was like hunted by Cypher, because she had that ability and she knew how to purify shadow Pokemon. And that game had its whole story, and then it seems like that's about it. It's still like Pokemon. You do the thing and you save the Pokemon. The original concept for Gale of Darkness, which is a direct sequel, was that Wes was actually doing all that stuff for nefarious purposes. What he wanted was to control all of those Pokemon and take over Cypher. Instead of just destroying it, he wanted to take over Cypher, and then he was the villain in Gale of Darkness. So that when you go back and play Coliseum, you now have this thing in your mind. You're like, oh, Wes is actually evil. He's doing this because he wants power. That didn't come true, but that would have been amazing.
That would, man...
Dude, I want to get me a GameCube now and just pick up a bunch of copies of old games
totally
that I
should,
enjoyed.
Invest like $20,000 in that? Because all those games are over $100 on Amazon.
I feel like I have to do it off eBay, I guess. And get lucky.
Yeah, try to get lucky.
Yeah.
There are so many GameCube games that I've either lost or given away or sold over my life that I'm like, I wish I could just remember all those games and then take them back. Just hunt somebody
Chris,
down and be like, give me my
You made a
games
mistake.
back.
That's what you did.
I did. I gave away Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, how could you do that? You can't even... Do you know how hard it is to find Jimmy Neutron online just to watch? It's a pain in the rear.
Isn't it on Netflix now?
I think so. I think it actually is on Netflix now. But before, it was such a pain in the butt to find. I had to go like on, like obscure websites just to watch it.
I mean, but that smells of unbeknownst kind of like corporate, shenanigans going on.
I don't know why that's the case. I just know that it was really
right,
hard
because
to
I thought it
find.
was really popular, at least when it was on the air. So
Yeah, but I guess it wasn't.
Or maybe the owner's like, no, it's dead.
Probably.
Let it die.
Well, for that with Nickelodeon, they're kind of like trying to keep their properties like controlled. Like you can only purchase seasons of SpongeBob on Amazon or stream them through this service that it's like called Vudu, and you have to.
I've
that's
never used that.
SpongeBob is on Vudu.
SpongeBob is on Vudu. Or something. He's not. They don't put SpongeBob on Netflix or Hulu because they're like, oh no, they're not gonna give us enough money. We can manipulate a smaller company, just squeeze the money out of them, rip them off for our IP, our SpongeBob. That's what we want to do.
All the new SpongeBob episodes suck. They really do. They're not very good.
Is that true?
Not all of them. But
What was the last season you watched?
Whatever that most recent one was.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Season 12?
How many seasons are there? God damn.
Yeah, there's 12
I
seasons.
didn't know there were seasons.
I just
I'm
know
gonna be honest.
that...
I thought it was just SpongeBob.
I just remember watching an episode where
I thought seasons only applied to anime.
It's just gotten gross. Gotten gross and childish. And I don't like it.
It's not like that particularly anymore.
Really?
Why? Because it's dead?
Or, yeah, because it ended.
Oh, I see.
It did end, but also, like, seasons 10 through 12 were not all that much like the previous 5 seasons.
Yeah, I think those were the seasons that like, I think we're going to have to pull this off the air.
That was when the original writers, like, came back.
And the creator died, too.
The creator died a few years ago.
Hillenberg, right? Was his name?
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace, man. I really did enjoy the what's it called? The tribute they gave him in the Super Bowl. That was real nice.
Yeah. But I wasn't even talking about Jimmy Neutron, the show, you fools. I was talking about the game.
I didn't even know there was a game.
It was based on...
No, I figured you were talking about the game. That's why I mentioned the difficulty and the expensive... Because people who do have that game are like, no, I want $1,000 and your right toe. And you'll be like, but it's Jimmy Neutron though for the PlayStation. Right.
It wasn't even good, but it's like it's a rare game.
Yeah.
That's how GameCube games are. They're rare because none of them, not even the highest selling one. Let me pull it up. It was Super Smash Bros. Melee. It only sold 7 million. That was the highest selling GameCube game.
Dude, so only 7 million people
and
have
people
a copy. And there's 7 billion people in the world.
Bro, I had 2 copies of Melee once. And then one of them broke, and I was like, I could have sold that for money.
Lots of money.
Yeah.
Because imagine it, 7 million people, 7 million, you got what, 1%?
1% of the population of Earth?
Yeah, that's a copy.
But I mean, it goes to show, people are still playing that the most highly made game on.
Yeah.
People are, even now, after the console itself is dead and buried.
What they need to do is just re-release a bunch of the games. Just start printing a bunch of copies.
I think literally every mainline Pokemon title has broken twice that amount, 7 million.
I know, but I think we're now in a day and age where I think more and more people are getting their hands on these games also.
That's true. I think that is probably the
copies,
case.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Because the GameCube itself only sold around 21.75 million worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you add the Wii, how many copies is that?
That was over 100 million.
So that's how many people have a GameCube, because a Wii is a GameCube as well,
Yeah,
right?
they can play their GameCube games if they ever even bought them.
Yeah.
If we know that the peak is 7 million.
Oh, which means I don't have to buy a GameCube. I just buy the controllers and...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good to go.
Good. As long as you have a memory card.
Oh.
That's another sparse resource.
Oh, God. Now that you mention it...
Wait, Wii's take memory cards? Or are you talking about GameCube?
You can put the GameCube memory card in the back port of the...
Would a PS2 memory card work on the
Absolutely not.
Oh, dude. those memory cards only held like 16 megabytes max. The classic ones only 8 megabytes.
Yeah, but
PlayStation? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Back then,
That's
that
crazy
was
to
huge,
think about
though.
now.
Yeah, back then that was your entire game library, and you're just like,
And you had space for more. Like,
yeah.
And to think, the one game Animal Crossing could take up that entire space.
And now,
Oh yeah, the cute little animal. Oh man, yeah, that is crazy.
and now you've got games like Call of Duty that take up 100 gigs, just to take up 100 gigs.
Just to put the thing on your console.
Just to play that.
You're not gonna play it because then you have to download the network installation.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about my PC. It was 150 gigabytes for I think Modern Warfare, and that's why I've never played it. It just
That's too bad, because Modern Warfare is really good. But
it's the remake. It's the remake, the whatever or the new one, whatever it was that came out.
No, because they that makes sense because they have a bunch of, and I think PCs just have it outright. They don't have it, like in installments like a console.
Yeah, they also don't compress the files properly.
Yeah, so
which is why Call of Duty's a mess when it comes to file size.
Do you think you could put this in perspective for me, Asmat?
Yeah.
The GameCube CPU was a 32-bit IBM PowerPC at 486 megahertz.
Well, I mean, we don't even use 32.
Yeah, even I know. I'm like,
anymore.
yeah, it's been.
We do. I know most.
But that's where my
do,
knowledge ends, Christopher. That's all I get.
Because most computers do 64-bit now. So like 30,
it says on all the boxes.
Yeah. So like, I think my old computer, like the one from like the Millennium Edition, that's probably kind of roughly where that thing's at. And so that thing could only play like what was it, Jurassic Park, Operation Genesis. That game was great,
yeah.
and it still chugged on that on that computer. But no, yeah, good times.
That's a good way to put into perspective of like we don't even use 32-bit processors anymore. The GameCube was considered the most advanced of its time.
Yeah,
Right.
Also, Nintendo did have the next gen console, Christopher.
Essentially, it came out
before it mattered.
It even came out before the PS2, and the PS2 was comparatively slower.
Oh.
The Xbox came out
But unfairly,
after both of
isn't
them.
the PS2 like the reigning champ of like sold consoles?
Absolutely, 155 million or something.
Good job, PlayStation.
I have 2 of them, so
yeah.
The first one decided the what's it called, the CD thing decided.
Oh, the disc track.
Yeah, it got jammed out. I can't push it back in. I'm not sure why, but it happened, and so I bought a new one. And the new one is the one where you press the button and it opens up.
See, that happened to me, but me being, no, I'm not giving up on you, PlayStation. Unfortunately, YouTube just has a plethora of how-to videos. But I do not recommend opening up your console if you do not have a steady hand.
Did it break?
No, I opened it up because apparently there's a piece in the PlayStation where there's a little piece that becomes disconnected. You just
For the sliding track, I guess, yeah.
And I'm like, man, why is it got to be designed to mess up PlayStation? But that's neither here nor there.
That's why they made the Slim, because I think that issue was very prevalent back in the day when the track would get stuck out. Which is also why when you have...
Yeah, also, no one has glasses screwdrivers on hand.
Yeah.
Why use little screws, PlayStation? That, man...
I mean, the same thing happened with like disk drives for computers. They don't do the whole come out and go in anymore. Now you just kind of put it in and it just takes it. And then when you
but the problem with that, if you
pushes
lose your
it up.
connection, it's all messed up. Or sometimes it doesn't recognize there's a thing in there. And you're like, oh...
And then you're screwed because your disk is stuck inside the thing.
Yeah, also to go back to the... you mentioned it back on the GameCube, but the whole... When they compressed it down to like their little disc, right? We're now in the point in time where they're trying to get rid of just the cartridges.
Entirely.
Yeah.
They're trying to get rid of discs?
But
I mean, not just per se, but I mean just a physical game that you can hold in your hand entirely.
Why was the GameCube disc so small, while like regular discs were so big? That's something that always like...
I don't know. I thought it added to the charm of the GameCube, let you know you were playing a game a little bit.
It does, but like your PlayStation 2, which came out, you said after, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went back to like normal sized.
Well, they had
CDs.
DVD-ROMs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because those are CD-ROMs, huh?
The PlayStation 1 played CD-ROMs. The PlayStation 2 could play DVD-ROMs, which also made it a DVD player.
Which is what I use it for.
Yeah.
At this point, that's what PS2 is. It's just my DVD player, and then my PS4 is my Blu-ray DVD player. Yeah, I don't have
Oh,
one.
that reminds me. One of the sole good things the Xbox got. It's got the big 4K, big high definition ultra 4K.
Comes out in November officially, right? Or December? The
No,
new
I'm talking
Xbox?
about the One X, the one that
Oh.
we have now currently.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
But no, isn't the new one coming out in December or November?
Yeah. Well, I want to bring this up to make a point about the GameCube in a minute.
Okay.
So the Xbox Series S was announced. It's supposedly just a slimmer version of the Series X, which hasn't even come out.
Yeah, it's the digital version of the Series X.
The digital.
Yeah.
And it's coming out for $300. That's quite the small price tag.
Yeah,
Comparatively.
and the only difference that I could see, because they had the
That's how much I paid for my PS4. Was
right, and the only difference I bet I see is that the resolution won't be as high, but everything else is next gen, like the.
Yeah, but it's digital only, and we know how Xbox handles their digital things. We know
They
how
don't.
Yep. We know how their backwards compatibility is. It's not.
If it has to rely on their, like it. It's like a house of cards built on an empty space. You know it's not going to work. But.
But I think that's the charm of physical products is you just get to have it.
Yes, you have it, and when you have it, you get to play it.
Yeah.
Instead of you have it on your console, but then they're like, oh no, you don't.
Also, when your internet's down and yada yada yada.
Yeah, when the internet goes down, so does the Xbox in the race of game consoles.
I think
what
that's why.
What a tragedy, actually, man.
I think that's why I always get when it comes to console games, I always get it physical. When it comes to my PC, I tend to get it digital.
Oh yeah,
because on my PC, it's just like I've got Steam, so yeah.
What if Steam goes down and then dies and disappears?
Well, I'm screwed because I got like a good almost 2,000 games.
Yeah,
just stashed in that Steam library of mine. Steam, stay strong.
Actually, I think worst case scenario, I think it'd be good to just get like an external hard drive and just store a bunch of excess stuff on that. If you could.
That's the nice thing about Steam though is because like you don't exactly need Steam to play the games because they'll just run anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can play offline, so that's nice. But they have to be downloaded. So
yes, but imagine that we have this next gen console that is only $300. Like that's what a Nintendo Switch is supposed to cost.
A Switch goes for like I don't even know how much now because there's none.
Upwards of $450.
Oh Jesus! I'm so glad I bought mine.
No, my sister and brother-in-law, they are borrowing mine. I'm like, so where are they at now? They're like, oh yeah, they're kind of going up. I'm like, oh.
I'm really glad. My cousin bought hers right before the price hike started.
Nice.
That was because like right when Corona was just like beginning and just like, oh well, Animal Crossing came out, so she went and bought one.
I think I bought mine on a payday. I'm like, man. It was dumb too. I had all of this cash on me, and I walked into the store, and I saw the Switch on the counter.
Like, I'm grabbing it.
I'm like, Smash Bros was right next to it. I'm like, oh man, if only there was like, and then saw the Pro Controller, and then 27.5 minutes later, I was hooking it up in my room because the Switch is great. I need to get more games.
You know what the best Smash game though is?
Which one?
Is it Melee?
No, I was gonna say it was the
the
one on the Wii.
On the Brawl?
Yeah, Brawl.
Brawl is not the best.
It had the story mode, and that's what I loved about it.
That's cool.
That's what I really enjoyed, and that's what I was disappointed about. And the ones that came out after, because there was no story mode.
Yeah, it's blame YouTube because when Sakurai was thinking about making a story mode for the next game, he looked and he was like, "We don't have that much time." And then he looked at YouTube and he was like, nobody even played the game to get these cutscenes. They just watched them on the internet. So I'm not doing it.
No, dude, it was so good though. It was because it was a campaign and it was co-op.
It was a co-op campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could play.
I abdicate that more games do this because man,
it was a full co-op campaign. It had a story and everything.
Because if you have a physical friend you can play with, that doesn't rely on bad internet connection, right?
Yeah.
No, not at all. And that's why Brawl is my favorite one.
You can like that. That's fine.
We're gonna let you think that it was okay.
But what if...
Actually, I remember Brawl. It was pretty good.
But what if you looked at the store counter and you saw a major Nintendo console release that had Smash Bros. On it and it was only $200? The GameCube launched at $200.
Only 200, really?
Yep.
I know, but what is the date to the launch of the GameCube?
November of 2001.
Yeah, see, okay, so that's 19 years of fluctuations of
Well,
of
even
the dollar bill.
even accounting for 19 years of inflation, it still probably wouldn't even be 300.
Maybe more like 250.
Probably something like that. It's still it's like that's like as much as the PS Vita.
I mean,
is it? That's nasty, man. I didn't think the Vita was.
I mean,
so
my
much.
DS was 200, I think, right back in the day, right?
Yeah.
In a full-on GameCube. Oh.
So I read up a trivia from VG Facts, and it said that what Nintendo wanted to do was they were like, we're going to have next gen consoles from Sony, and like they could only account for Sony. Microsoft was like, hey, we're gonna do consoles too eventually. They came out with the Xbox in 2003 or 4. But Nintendo was like, Nintendo was like, we're not going to fight with them on price. We're not going to sell our console as if it's something amazing. We're going to sell the games. And we're going to sell the console at a lower price so that people will just buy it and they'll be anticipating games. Yeah. And I can't believe that even with only
Man, what a good idea, actually.
Even with only a $200 price tag, still sold way less than either of those consoles.
You know, Chris, do you want to know what this circles back to? That the Xbox Series X or whatever it is that's coming out, yeah, that's gonna fail because it has not a single, what's it called?
Yeah, they haven't come up with a reason for you to buy their console.
Yeah,
they're like, look at our thing, but you're like, okay, but what can I play on it? And they go,
yeah, it's just all the games are on every other console. So why would I?
You play Xbox original games, but if the internet goes out, it doesn't register that you in fact have hard copies in the console. Man, I keep circling back to that because it makes me so mad, man.
Because like there is no what's it called, exclusives for that, and that's why I think it's.
There's exclusive. It's just they're all the same game.
Yeah, but they're not even coming out at launch though.
They're not. Not even Halo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Halo. Oh man.
And this is where the GameCube excelled versus Microsoft.
Wait, GameCube had some Spyro games on there too, didn't it? Do you remember?
Spyro, yeah.
Yeah, they ported it to PC recently, 1, 2, and 3.
Well, GameCube had the awful 4th one because 1, 2, and 3 came out on the PlayStation.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I remember playing those games. Those were cool.
No, but yeah, do you want to know another great game is? Digimon Rumble Arena 2.
Yeah.
See, that was better than Smash. Who needed Smash when you had Digimon?
I don't.
There's quite a hateful community that would love to disagree with you, Ismat.
I don't really care.
Oh, all right, y'all know who you are. Come and get them. But anyways.
No, don't come get me. Dude, I love Rumble Arena. I just loved because with Gallantmon, you just kind of sit in the corner on the map Dry Gulch, and you just kept using shield attack, and no one could get you. It was great.
Man, it's like using the goalie to score a point in FIFA.
Yeah.
That's some dirty tactics, is what. Can't be mad. If it works, it works. But,
So,
good times.
On the point of exclusives, 100%. Like the GameCube had exclusives. I mean, like 90% of the library was exclusives, and they were all really good games. But as far as launch titles, I think what didn't grasp people was that there weren't quite illustrious launch titles. Looking back, you can look at Luigi's Mansion and be like, man, that's a great game. But when people were expecting Mario to come out the same day as the console, and it didn't, people did not take well to Luigi's Mansion.
wait, Luigi's Mansion was the GameCube launch title?
Luigi's Mansion was the GameCube launch title.
Oh, dang, okay.
Mario Sunshine came out like 1 or 2 years later. Like they wanted to... It's because the fluid physics. That game is entirely based around water, and that added a lot of development time to it. Mm-hmm. And I think there was also like Super Monkey Ball was a launch title.
Super Monkey Ball.
I remember playing it. I forgot what it was I played it on, but I played one of those games, and I just remember raging at it. I was pissed off.
And of course Smash Melee, which is still played competitively to this day, was a launch title. But I think that was it. People looked at the games that were on it when it came out and they were like, whatever, I don't care, even though they were great games. Mm-hmm. People were just stupid. They were like, I want my instant gratification. I don't want to play this cool looking game about a little Italian man sucking up ghosts in a vacuum. I don't that he's not the red one. I don't want it.
Yeah. Oh, poor Luigi.
And then of course eventually Sunshine would come out, and then eventually probably my favorite Legend of Zelda game, Wind Waker, came out 2004.
Wait, you like Wind Waker? Does that mean Greg is the one that likes Skyward Sword?
Greg likes Skyward Sword. That's 100%. He tries to sell that thing to me all the time.
No, anytime you guys get to argue, and I forget who. Okay, so you're Wind and he's Skyward. Okay, man, they get so heated. I'm like, what? Whoa.
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask was on the 64.
64.
It came out like 8 months after Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
It was that's a different wild story because that's like
8 months. That's
That's why pretty much every asset in Majora's Mask is the same from Ocarina of Time.
See, the only reason I know about that game is because creepypasta, and I used to read them back in the day.
Ben drowned.
Yeah, that one.
The game. I bought a Nintendo executable file from a garage sale, and then I put it into my Nintendo Laserdisc, and the boy, he drowned, and then I drowned.
Creepypastas are great. They're really stupid, but they're great. I love them. So sometimes you get a really good one, and you're just like, yes.
Sometimes you get a really stupid one, and you're like, I'm so happy now.
Oh, dude. There was like a Harry Potter fanfic one. Creepypasta thing.
Where Harry Potter came to life, and he Avada Kedavra that person?
No, it was like really, really broken up. Like, I don't even know how to describe. Dude, this thing it's just a mess. It's a jumbled mess of random Harry Potter just stacked on top of each other. That made no sense whatsoever. I never read it because I was like watching a YouTube video of it, and they were just like reading it. I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
Never again.
Something else. I don't think we're going to get to talk about everything that I wish I could talk about the GameCube, but something I do want to mention is that Nintendo made a deal with Panasonic to make a GameCube Panasonic DVD player. It was a GameCube. I mean, it could play GameCube games, and it could play DVDs.
Ooh.
It was called the Panasonic Q.
Did it ever happen?
Well, I don't know if it... I don't know for certain. Let's see.
Only 5 were made. They go for $1,000.
Hybrid version of the GameCube and DVD player.
I'll go buy one.
And it's a DVD. It's just outlandishly priced because there's so few.
The system was...
You're like, oh man, and it doesn't work? Oh.
The system was officially released only in Japan.
Oh.
Okay. I'm like, yeah, that sounds too hype for America.
Alright, Kevin, I know where we're going.
It lasted 2 years. And from...
The Dreamcast of Japan?
Yes.
Ugh.
And what I learned about it, it failed so hard. It's not like it was a bad idea, but you could buy a GameCube and a DVD player for less than the Panasonic Q.
Okay, so that's what happened. It was price.
Yeah.
What did it go for? 300 or 400?
It doesn't seem to be listed. That's a shame. But I mean, the GameCube itself was extremely cheap, and I'm sure DVD players were not that bad if you were like, let's just get a basic one.
Well, I mean, at that point, because it was like right before the PS2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you had DVDs pretty prevalent. So.
No, that means this Panasonic Q must have been crazy expensive.
Yeah, it's probably like... I'm going to guess it was roughly like closer to 400.
Oh, I want to say 450 to 5 maybe, because if you can get 2 systems and it still be cheaper than, I don't know. Like that.
Well, no, because DVD players back then, they were only like $200. So I would think it was, because you still had VHS players too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
VHS was the thing, if you did not know that.
If you forgot, or if you're too young to know what that is.
And then a girl in white with long hair killed everybody, and then VHSs had to go away.
Is that The Ring?
Yeah.
Dude, that movie, I remember watching it for the first time when I was little. Freaked me out. I was afraid of phone calls for a bit.
Man, and then have you seen that new one? It's called Rings, where it's like you can catch the becomes like a bio curse, where it's like a thing.
What?
Like you can catch the haunting.
That just sounds stupid.
It was actually pretty good.
It was good?
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to give it a watch.
Because I'm like, man, that's dumb. But then I watched it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see. And like, it's about these college kids that find the tape, and they're like, man, how could... And they're doing research on like, how is there a ghost in this videotape?
Oh. No.
So they know what they were playing with fur.
I definitely need to rewatch the original Ring too, though, because like yeah,
Should play the Ring video game.
Is this a video game?
There's a video game.
No, yeah, there is.
Is it on GameCube?
I wish it was.
I think even before the GameCube, I want to say. I think it's one of the worst pieces of trash you'll ever find, but it exists.
Before we wrap up, this is something actually kind of big that I want to talk about. So I have a fact here from VG Facts. Nintendo had once patented and developed a prototype motion controller for the GameCube. So you know where the idea for the Wii came from. As for that, I remember having a wireless GameCube controller. Didn't have motion sensor, but I remember that being, like, for me, the genesis of, like, I don't need wires for my GameCube. I don't need wires to play console video game. This is amazing. But
like
that was...
My cousin had 2 of those wireless controllers.
That was in a time before rechargeable batteries, though. So the tech was clunky, and you did have to replace the batteries quite often.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, the tech was completely solid, though.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it decided not to connect very well.
Sometimes.
But for the most part, it was pretty light.
You had problems like that with what is now considered primitive technology. Mm-hmm. Of course, we've advanced. Stuff like I'm pretty sure that's why the Wii had a motion sensor to make sure that it didn't disconnect.
To be fair though, so before even the you also had like the Rumble packs on the old Game Boy Color even back in the day. When I think what was that Kirby game where you like rolled around or whatever? Was it Kirby?
Yeah, there was a Kirby game where you could tilt the system and Kirby would
I just remember that game being a pain because I just. But no,
Kirby, please, no.
Yeah, but and then also, you had the iToy on the PS2, which was the original VR right there.
We literally talked about this last week.
Oh,
I know, but if there was, but if there was a version that did it before better, how did we regress? Come to find out, this is new information. Sorry, Christopher, this is interesting.
No, it's silly.
Which does lead me to say though, 2 more weeks, supposedly. For my index.
Oh, yeah, 2+ weeks?
Yeah, and I'm on 2+ weeks. It went from 4+ last Monday to 2+.
It's going to be 0+, and you'll be like, what does that mean?
So hopefully this Monday, I'll get the email for, like, to pay.
Okay.
And if I'm unlucky, it'll be the following Monday.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that was me saying my...
That was episode 13,
that was your index update of the week.
Oh, yeah, see, the arc continues.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, are we going to get a conclusion before season 2 finale?
I'm pretty sure we'll get I hope we get a conclusion next week.
We're going
to have a time skip that makes no sense when we come back.
Will any plot lines be done? You know what, just one last thing. The GameCube had a handle.
It did! So if people came to steal your GameCube, you can defend yourself. Like,
Oh, because
it had the thing on the back and you could carry it around.
Dude, the GameCube knew exactly who it was.
Also, it was a GameCube. It was a little thing. Yeah, easily portable, man.
And it was lightweight, not like my PC. That's also a cube. Man. But I can't.
Thinking back, it's like Nintendo kind of had a plan all along, a little bit. Like you can see the steady progression.
Yeah.
Nintendo and then the Wii U came out.
Mm-hmm. That's where the plan stopped.
and then they were derailed by the Wii U.
This is where the podcast stops.
But they were derailed by the Wii U.
If you go to anchor.fm/BEAN-STOCK, that's anchor.fm/bean-stock, you can find all the links for the podcast on all 6 of the platforms that we stream on. We also have all of our socials linked to the descriptions of each episode as well as on our Anchor page. We also have a YouTube channel which is also linked in the description and on the Anchor page. We have a Twitch channel as well. It's not linked on the Anchor page, but it will be in the description of this video. It is twitch.tv/beansonstream. Spelled exactly as you would spell it, one word. Lord, save us.
Squirtle, do your thing when we say the bad words. I don't know the Squirtle noise.
Squirtle said the N-word. Oh, no.
Oh, God.